Karma is basically the energy of our thoughts, words and action. It is the energy that we send out to the outside world by our thoughts or words or our action. Of course, every action is preceded by a thought, and so the thought energy has more power. Whatever we send out, it definitely returns back to us. And the return effect is called karmic effect, or it is said in Sanskrit as karma phala. So we have to experience the karma phala according to the energy which we have sent out in the past. And karma phala is mainly the mental suffering. Suffering means the negative thinking about what we experience. And we experience this negative thinking or the mental suffering in three ways. One is the direct mental suffering. The other is the physical suffering. Through the physical suffering we experience mental pain. And another is due to the natural calamities. Of course, there are many ways through which we experience mental sin or mental suffering, but these are the three important ways, very common. In this video, I am concentrating mostly about the negative karmic effect, because only by the negative karmic effect we suffer and we search for meaning. When we experience the negative effect, we are not aware of our past action. So we always question, why do this suffering come to me? So we question like that. So I am concentrating in this video mostly on the negative karmic effect, because we all enjoy mental pleasure. We do not search for explanation for that. The three ways in which we experience mental pain is directly the mental pain, through the physical suffering, and due to the natural calamities. Mental sins are caused to deliberately hurt the mental, emotional and mental feelings of others, and they return to us as mental suffering, and by that we experience grief, worry, depression, distress, humiliation, verbal insult and any type of mental disorders. Mental sins are caused deliberately, voluntarily under strong negative emotional stimuli, with full mental awareness and mental involvement to cause mental injury to others. It may be through our words or action, or just by our mannerism. All these comes as mental sin. And these mental sins are basically done out of false ego. Due to this false ego, we create a feeling of superiority or inferiority, and we hurt others. We create a feeling of fear, anxiety, revenge, jealous towards others. And so these thoughts in us, these emotions in us tempt us to create that feeling of insult, and we insult others. Basically, when we insult others, the impression of the insult is within us. It forms deep impressions in our mind. And the vibration of the insult goes outside, it reaches that target, that is the other person, gains energy from that person also and returns back to us. And it activates the latent impression of insult in us, and by this a thought is created and we attract a situation. So these impressions of insult will be potent and will be active until we receive the same insult, the same feeling, the same intensity in return. It will remain there active. The time of creating a thought, its subsequent action, and the return of its effect, this completes it's a karmic cycle. So until this karmic cycle is over, the impression, whatever impressions are created in us, remains in us as in an active mode. The other way through which we experience the mental suffering is through our physical suffering. When we perform some action in our past, that is, when we overuse our sense organs for pleasure, it is also considered as a sin. When we misuse our physical organs or our body, when we misuse our sense organs for adharmic purposes, that is for the non-righteous act, when we use our body for any non-righteous act, then the vitality of these organs lose their vitality in the subtle body. And as I explained in my last video about the journey of the jiva, when a jiva goes out of the body, it carries with it the impressions, the subtle body with it. The jiva carries with it the subtle body. So when we misuse our body for adharmic or non-righteous act in the previous birth, they lose their vitality in the subtle body. And this is reflected in the physical body in the present birth. And due to that reaction, there are many physical deformities, malfunction of organs, diseases, impairment of some organs, subject to physical cruelty, or we lose some organs by accidents, and all type of physical pain we experience in this birth. The scar of these impressions will fade away only when we repent about it. If we do not repent about our sin, that is either mental or physical sin, then or if we do not neutralize it by any positive thoughts, then that impressions are carried away to the next birth also. So all these impressions of the sin must be neutralized or must be made positive in this birth itself. When we experience some physical suffering, sometimes nature may cure it, or because of the modern medical facilities we may get cured. It all depends upon the intensity or the depth of the impression in the mind. The next way through which we experience the mental suffering is due to natural calamities. Just like a flood or earthquake or tsunami or the famine or any natural disasters like this. It is basically the result of the collective karma of all the people living there. They might have done similar karmas in the past, and so they are subject to this natural calamity. And also, when we disturb the nature for our selfish purpose, then we experience this kind of difficulty. Anyway, when we experience this difficulty due to natural calamities, we lose everything. The wealth, the near and dear ones, health, everything. So it is a major cause for creating mental worry. Not only these three ways, there are many ways we experience mental suffering, but these are the common ways, three common ways explained in the scriptures. Whatever way we suffer, it is basically the mental suffering. Because every action is preceded by a thought, and the thoughts arise from the mind, and so it is a mental suffering. So before creating the next thought, consider or just think whether it is positive or negative. The same is for the positive also. When we create positive thoughts, in return we get positive effects. but mainly we suffer due to these negative karmas. Thank you for watching.